Okay, testing, making sure my audio is good. Just a quick little video. Haven't done one in a little while. Every once in a while, I get some things on my mind for no apparent reason other than just something pops into my mind, and I start thinking about it. Next thing you know, I realized I spent 45 minutes thinking about something. I'm like, you know what? I should write it down and make a little video about it instead of thinking about it in my own head. So I wrote down myself some notes because I'll forget as soon as I hit record what I was even going to talk about. But keep it simple. Let your yes mean yes and your no mean none. Basically, the whole gist of this little video is that God keeps things simple. He made things very simple. Humans and Satan, more specifically, make things complicated. God didn't make all this stuff so hard that we couldn't figure out. He gave us a book that would make it very simple if we would just read the book for what it says. So many people think they have to go to school or a seminary or, they got to go see other humans to teach them what the Bible says so they can have more understanding, where the Bible doesn't say anything about that. The Bible doesn't say, well, you got to go to school first before you can understand this. It doesn't say that. And you don't need to. That's humans telling you that. And then once you go to school, you're relying on human wisdom. And the Bible speaks about human wisdom. It says wisdom to the world is foolishness to God. That's 1 Corinthians 3:19. God thinks the wisdom of the world is foolish because it is. It's silly. The world will tell you all kinds of crazy stuff that can't be verified, but because it's popular belief right now and because it's force taught in schools, that's the world's truth. It's not our truth. We don't believe in 60 different genders, but that's what the world does. The world has, remember, Satan owns the world. It says in the Bible that he owns the world. The entire world. It didn't say just the United States. It didn't just say France. It said the entire world lies in the hand of the wicked one. That's everything. That means every school, every business, especially the big ones, the big businesses and the governments, they belong to Satan. That's his stuff. That's, everything, he owns that. And they do his bidding. And what does school teach? They teach evolution. 50, 60 different genders, whatever it happens to be this week. That's what Satan teaches, and the schools do his bidding. It says, trust in the Lord with your whole heart, and lean not on your own understanding. That's Proverbs 3:5. It didn't say, well, except for voting. I believe in Trump. Everybody, Trump this and Trump that. Well, the Bible doesn't say anything about voting for human governments to rule over you. It says, put your whole heart and trust in God. It didn't say, except for Trump. Never says that. I'm trying to figure out how to hold this phone. Dang it. So, yeah, it never said vote for Trump, never said vote for Biden. It doesn't matter which one of them get in there because that's the world. The world votes. And we're going to be no part of the world. It didn't say, be mostly part of God, but, have some worldly stuff. Be no part of the world. We can't be a part of their world. We can't do what they do. We can't be, especially where things are starting to go. You see where things are going, with the masks and the vaccine. This is the future. We can't be no part of that. And Satan's going to separate the wheat from the tares. He's going to, as more of this stuff starts to shake itself out, we as real Christians, or, we don't have to use a Christian word. We could say people that believe in God, Yahweh, and his son, Jesus. The true believers are going to start to stand out, and the fake ones are going to start to fall away. And that's part of what's going on now. You're starting to see the shaking out. And so it's getting more and more divisive in the world, and we're not going to have a choice. They're going to take away the fence that a lot of people are walking on. It's because, science is of Satan. Science is Satan's answer to God. So now look what they're using. They're saying, well, science backs the use of masks. Science backs the use of this vaccine. Well, science says we came from monkeys. Science says men and women don't exist, but be one of any 70 genders or whatever the number is this week. Science says we are spinning and hurtling through space even though our senses tell us otherwise. I don't trust science as far as I can throw it. That's leaning on human wisdom, and we see what God said about that. Let the Bible tell you what it says. Don't let the Bible, don't tell the Bible what you believe. Just read it. Keep it as simple as that. Read it with the mind of a child. Don't let your own adult understanding get in the way of reading what the Bible will clearly tell you. Because a lot of people get into all this crazy stuff like, well, there's going to be giants pretty soon because it says in the days of Noah, so will, the end times be. We don't know that. That's not what it said. It just says in the days of Noah, and so will the end times be. Well, that also could have been just as simply as, well, the days of Noah, no one believed Noah to get on the boat, and so they all perished. And so when we start adding our own things to it, that's when we start getting into, kind of foggy territory. And kind of like it says in the Bible for a reason. It says, don't go beyond the things written. It didn't say start speculating on what you think this means or start speculating what you think that means. Once you start doing that, you start getting into Satan's world. Now you're starting to become a false prophet, or let's start believing in lies. Just read it. Keep it simple. Don't start adding your own spin to it. Don't sit there and think, well, maybe there's going to be giants. Now, maybe if the giants come, then then giants come. I listen to a lot of, really intelligent brothers and sisters that do these great videos, and then they start spinning off on crazy stuff like giants coming and whatever, chimeras, and there's going to be half men, half bulls running around. I don't know any of that, and I don't think we should even get into it because at that point you're going beyond the things written. Keep it simple. Just read it for what it says. If it says something, then that's what it says. It says, God made the world and rested upon pillars. And I believe that's what it says to me. There's very clear points when the Bible is talking about, parables or storytelling and when it's being literal. And then we start making up our own interpretation. Well, right here, it's being literal. We don't know that. It didn't say that. And you're adding that to it. So let's just not worry about what humans think as a whole and what's popular and sit by yourself. The best way to get to God is to be alone and fast and to immerse yourself in prayer. And then that's when, you'll start to understand things. So that's kind of like my video today. I just wanted to keep it simple. I think people they get too caught up in how smart they are. Like, oh, I went to school for 4 years, 5 years in theology. Well, that doesn't make you better than a guy that just sat in his backyard and prayed and read the Bible alone. Matter of fact, I think that God is with the person sitting in the backyard. That's who he's with. So that's what I had to say today. See you guys later.